Right.
We saw Jill and
Not
Richard's
social
names, but they're
distancing.
not there.
Okay, well, let's get started in the interest of everyone's attention span,
Sure.
mine being shorter than most. This is just fabulous. I think we've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. So good night, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good rehearsal.
So we're going to go, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go around before we have our abridged Seder. And we're going to have everyone just say hello and tell us how you are, because in our crazy life, everyone's trying to do the best they can. So Judy and I wanted to just say that we're just thrilled to be able to see all your punums. And let's start in the upper left-hand corner, at least my upper left-hand corner. Renee and Court, say hi.
Hi.
Is that it? I mean, can you say a few words or no?
What would you like, Dad?
I don't want to. Renee is my co-conspirator. Actually, she's my consultant. She's my Zoom consultant.
It went big screen.
All I want to say is that I appreciate my dad for thinking about this 2 weeks ago. We've had one cruise, and he's very excited. Excel spreadsheets have been involved. All seriousness aside, I love seeing all your faces, and I know we're not together, but I kind of feel like we are. What do you want to say?
No, I just miss everyone, and hopefully everyone's staying healthy and we can all see each other.
Susie and Joel, you're up.
Well, I'm also happy to see everyone. It's a pleasure to see you all virtually, and we are very happy to be seen. It's been a crazy spring, but so grateful to be celebrating the way we are.
Okay.
I'm surprised this whole thing worked, because I never thought it would.
Of course not.
But it's nice to be with all of you. And Susie will be off the phone in a minute, but thanks for having us.
Chuck, Nikki,
Hi.
Hi.
Miss you guys. Yeah, this has been a crazy year, but we're doing great. Everything is great around here.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish everybody to be strong during these times that are tough. It will get better. I'm hoping the next 3 weeks, at least in Michigan, I hope around the country, things get better. And I just wish that everyone just stays healthy and just stays healthy. That's all I wish.
hey, terrific. That's the Detroit people. That's 280 miles away from us.
Bob and Rana.
Bob and Rana. Two more Detroit
I
people.
wish everybody a happy Passover. I'm so happy, Jeff, that you set this up. It's really, really great. Even though we're not there in person, virtually we are. And it's one of those things that we'll look back on, hopefully, with many memories, hopefully fond memories. Everybody stay healthy and hunker down, and this will pass eventually, and we'll get a vaccine, and we'll be back to normal, whatever that happens to be. Back on the golf course, hopefully.
Guys, the last time I saw you, we were on a ship in the Caribbean.
Yes, and thank goodness
glad
it
you're
occurred
not
when
now.
it did. Not
It was
later.
another world.
Yes.
It seems like
Dan-
years. I'm jumping in just so you know, the cruise ships have canceled all my orders because they're not.
What?
No.
Dan and Jody, you're up.
Cancel the orders.
We're here.
Okay.
No, just thank you, Uncle Jeff and Renee, for organizing this. It's nice to see everyone, and hopefully next year we'll all be together in person again. But thank you for the work that went into it, and we're just happy to be here. Missing everyone in person.
You guys look good.
I want to warn you that some of you are going to be participating. You don't know it yet, but it'll be easy, and I'll let you off easy. So, but I don't want you to be totally relaxed. Blake and Lisa.
Hi.
Hello.
Stop it.
We're great. We're really happy to be here. We're having as much fun as we possibly can, while staying in the confines of our apartment. But happy to be here and hope we don't get called on too often.
We'll see. Cameron. Cameron, can you hear me, Cameron?
Yes.
Want to say hello to
Girls
everybody?
got all dressed up.
Welcome to our Seder. Hold on, hold on. Cameron, what have you been practicing on for today? So Cameron's been practicing for the core questions.
Is it moving?
Sloan is working on her grape juice. Jordan is working on eating her eggs.
Oh, they're
And we're all-
good.
They're so cute.
Okay, well,
I have some hard-boiled eggs.
thank God for the mute button.
I haven't seen Stacy yet.
And I just want to say that I
Hi,
prepared the sportscaster outfit for Zach.
He's in his slippers and shorts.
The Gian Greco.
Okay, the Northbrook Clients.
Well, I would just like to say, I loved putting on lipstick
I know.
to see all of you. No, seriously, thinking about the holiday, just preparing it for two of us, but the excitement that one feels for the holiday of being together, it was there thinking that we would all be together tonight. So this is a beautiful thing. And
Next best thing.
huh?
Next best thing.
Next best thing.
Okay, why did we get a commercial?
Yeah. Mitchie, Jackson?
Okay, the Namorti family, you guys look good.
Hi guys.
Well,
It's a gorgeous day here in Boulder. It's like 70 degrees, and it's great to see all of your healthy faces, and it's great to do this all together. So thank you, Renee, for organizing, and it's great to see you guys sending love to all. I feel like we're the Brady Bunch here.
yeah, yeah.
Actually, it looks like a CNN newscast. We're going to our reporter in Colorado.
There's Lisa and Liam.
Sheila and Stephen.
Hi. Hi, honeys. Hi, everybody. Well, it's we're doing extraordinarily well. You know, there's moments where it's a little difficult because of the unknowns.
But the weather's been great. We can spend a lot of time outside, so things are good.
Yeah, and like Debbie said, to wear a little makeup and put on some jewelry, it's kind of fun. And, you know, it's times like this where you just realize what's important. And so to have this time together, it just pulls on my heart and gives us strength. So we love you. Thank you.
This will pass over.
Oh, there's the Indiana Hoosier in the corner.
From online these days.
You went to Indiana University and they closed the place. I don't know what happened.
It's unfortunate. I wish I could go back right now, but it's been nice being with family and everything, and being able to Zoom with my friends who are here. And I still talk to my friends at home too, but it's obviously like really unfortunate. But thank you for including us in this. It's a very good idea. We got to make it work one way or another. So yeah.
Hi, Lise.
Hi.
How are you, sweetie?
Good, good. Thank you. Thank you
Oh.
for including me. I appreciate it.
Oh, love having you. Love it.
Lisa.
It's good to see you.
Thank you. You too.
Hey, Jill and Richard, are you on or are you not on? Dan, are your folks on?
Did Rana want to say something?
Unclear. They might be on. I think they're having issues because they have to do it on their phone.
I think Bob said it all.
I'm not sure
Just
it's working.
to be with other people and family, and just wish we could be together and hug.
You know what? We had you at the table next year, but we'll see you before.
Looking forward to it.
Yep.
Okay, well, we're gonna get started in a minute, but I just want to tell you what we're gonna try to do. If this works, it'll be great. If it doesn't work, we had a good time seeing everybody, and we'll just talk to each other for the next however long. We're gonna do the Seder. We're gonna go through the regular parts of it, and everyone's gonna try to do their little part. And I have the Haggadah that's gonna be on the screen. I'm gonna share my screen. And all you have to do is look at your screen and be able, when it's your turn, if I tell you you're on, all you have to do is be able to read. And if we can handle that, this is going to be a success. So we're looking forward to getting started. So I'm going to share the screen and let's see if this works. Okay. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. First thing we're going to do is Jody sent me this in her temple, and this was a thing, a few thoughts of why this year's Seder is different from all others. So I thought these would be good things to read since we're in such strange times. I think what we'll do is there's 4 of them, and I'd like Jody and Dan to read the first one, and then Rachel and Ayel to read the second one, and then Blake and Lisa, and then John and Stacy. So Jody, since this is your find, you go first. Thought number 1.
We're not singing.
We're not singing.
Dad, we're seeing your.
Says we can upgrade Zoom.
Yeah, we have an advertisement.
You're not seeing what I'm talking about?
No, all we're seeing is the post-meeting thing and to upgrade.
You're just showing the wrong window.
Yeah.
Bid to pay.
That's okay. Yep,
Should be a
I
short Seder.
downloaded it.
How about that?
Can you see this?
Nope.
No.
Okay. Renee, what am I doing wrong? It should be working.
Jeff, I think this is how Zoom makes money.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah, we're back to.
I know. I'm trying to do it again.
So we're looking at the wrong thing.
So I'm pretty sure that.
Oh, okay. There it is.
We got it now.
There you go.
Okay. Can you see Passover 2020?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Jody and Dan, you want to read thought number 1? Can you see it?
This is so cool.
Okay, sure. Thought number 1, a Seder during this time of social distancing is actually similar to the very first Seder ever. The ritual meal the Israelite slaves ate on the eve of their departure from Egypt. On that long ago night, in a rather intimate affair, each family sat by itself and ate home-roasted lamb, home-baked matzah, and bitter herbs. Only if they couldn't finish the lamb by themselves were they permitted to share the meal with a neighbor. And right before sitting down to their meal, they smeared a touch of blood from the lamp on their doorpost. Why? So the 10th and final plague would pass over them while they ate. Right.
Very good. Thank you. Rachel and Ayel, thought number 2, please.
Sure. Being cooped up for weeks or months makes us feel very unfree, but on the flip side, we're doing it for the sake of the greater good, so that we and people we know and many people we don't know won't get sick. This gets to the heart of Passover and the meaning of freedom. The Jewish idea of freedom is not doing whatever we want. It's bigger than that. Being free is the freedom of choice combined with the freedom to serve something greater than ourselves. That's why in the story of the Exodus, the Israelites crossed the sea and less than 2 months later found themselves at Sinai, receiving a blueprint for an ethical society. Living in the time of the coronavirus can remind us of this deeper truth, that freedom is about both independence and interdependence.
Terrific. Thank you so much. Blake, Lisa, number 3, can you see it?
We can see it. Or to say it another way, perhaps the greatest takeaway from Passover is this biblical teaching. Treat the stranger fairly, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. In recent weeks and months, though, even as we physically distance ourselves from one another, no one feels quite like a stranger. The world has shrunk, vulnerability and compassion connect us. The timeless tension in the Passover Seder, are we free or are we only free next year, permeates humanity today. That feeling will certainly affect the way we share the Passover story with our family this year.
Thank you. This last one I thought was totally appropriate for John and Stacy, as you can see from the first 5 words of it. And many of you are feeling the same thing, but go ahead, guys.
As parents of young children, we've all been trying to make the best of these recent weeks. Crafts and yoga, yes. Movies and baking, yes. We've all been in the trenches together. That's the perfect segue into Passover, which is the one Jewish holiday we're meant to not simply celebrate and about fashion, but actually to recreate. In every generation, we should see ourselves as if we personally came out of Egypt. Since it's an unusual year anyway, why not try something new and unusual? Bake your own matzah, just flour and water. Set up a tent in the living room and pretend you're Israelites at the first Seder. Did that 2 days ago. Hold the pre-meal part of your Seder around a coffee table, sitting on couches or on pillows on the floor. Have a push-up competition to see who can best endure slavery. Did that this morning. Break into a family dance just the way Miriam did after crossing the sea. Many families are already Zooming the Seder, so why not go further and make a Passover experience your children will always remember. Back to mute.
All right. That was great, and I think it really talks about how this really is different than any other Seder we've ever had in a lot of ways. We're going to go now. I'm just going to have Renee read one thing, which we were looking at over this together, and it's really struck me because of how we feel with us being, you know, cooped up like we are. So, Renee, would you read about Anne Frank on page 69?
Yes, I still believe.
And Renee, you're getting a little older, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you.
No glasses yet. That's the difficulty in these times. Ideals, dreams, and cherished hopes rise within us, only to meet the horrible truth and be shattered. It's really a wonder that I haven't dropped all my ideals, because they seem so absurd and impossible to carry out. Yet I keep them, because in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. I simply can't build up my hopes on a foundation consisting of confusion, misery, and death. I see the world gradually being turned into a wilderness. I hear the ever-approaching thunder, which will destroy us too. I can feel the suffering of millions, and yet, if I look up into the heavens, I think it will come out all right, that this cruelty too will end, and that peace and tranquility will return again. In the meantime, I must uphold my ideals, for perhaps the time will come when I shall be able to carry them out.
Boy, that's really something for any of you who've ever been to the Anne Frank house, what she lived like for however long she lived, and she survived. It's really quite remarkable. So I think that's really, we need to remember that as much as we feel like we're suffering, it could be a lot worse. So we need to be happy with what we are able to do. Okay, we're going to start into the regular part of the Seder now, and we're going to do the candle lighting.
Okay.
And Nani Judy's going to get started, and she's going to do this with all the girls. Are going to, hopefully will help.
Okay.
And I hope you can see her.
We'll light ours too.
All the girls.
Deb, I got it right there ready for you.
Okay, this is.
Almost. Okay.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Barbara.
Share.
Shall Yom Tov.
Amen.
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 Okay. Shekhiana, Pihigiana. That's mine.
How's that?
Okay, and then Debbie Klein, would you read at the bottom of the page, on page 4, I think you can see it, the traditional women's prayer candle lighting, please.
My candle wouldn't light. Okay, wait a second. Where are we?
Right here.
Gotta be a little bit bigger, please.
Here.
Okay.
Whoop.
May it be your will, God of our ancestors, that you grant my family and all Israel a good and long life. Remember us with blessings and kindness. Fill our home with your divine presence. Give me the opportunity to raise my children and grandchildren to be truly wise, lovers of God, people of truth, who illuminate the world with Torah, good deeds, and the work of the Creator. Please hear my prayer at this time. Regard me as a worthy descendant of Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, our mothers, and let my candles burn and never be extinguished. Let the light of your face shine upon us. Amen.
Amen. Okay. And then the next page is the blessing over the children. So we can't touch our children. We're not allowed to be around our children, but we can all sort of do this. So I'd like to ask if Bob and Mitchell, on behalf of everyone else, will say these blessings for our kids, and pretend you're putting your hands on their heads while you're doing it.
Mitchell.
May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. May God make you like Sarah and Rebecca, Rachel and Leah. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you and favor you. May God's face turn to you and grant you shalom.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to.
Where he said Papa Mitchell. Okay.
Oh, no, that's not what I want. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the Seder plate, and I have to warn everybody. I don't have the ability to hand out silver dollars like I do. But you know what we're going to do? There are silver dollars to be had, I think, but they're going to be given out by the parents individually at their home. So there may be some questions here. So I'm going to ask a question. Tell me what all the things on the Seder plate are. Who wants to take that? Anybody want to answer that? Yep.
Cameron knows.
13 and under.
Cameron knows. I know it's yours. Look, oh, she's just seen it.
Egg, bitter herbs, a shake bone, a lentis, and that's it.
That's good, you know, but Cameron, you're not going to get silver dollars. You're going to get an LOL over this.
What? You're going to get an LOL, she said.
Yay!
Okay, so those are the things on the Seder plate. Does everybody have that at their house? And these are all the things that are significant for what meanings of Seder. The maror is because of the misery that the Jewish people had to go through in Egypt. And then we're going to talk about the greens in just a second. The bitter herbs and the haroset, which is made the mortar that they had to use to build. Did anybody see the 10 Commandments the other night?
Yeah.
I watched it. I had to remember all the people. I won't ask any questions about that.
Okay.
What role did Yvonne DiCarlo play?
Moses' mother.
What's her name?
Orders. No, I don't know that.
Okay.
My mother.
Okay.
Yvonne DiCarlo?
We're going to go on to, I just want to point out on this page, this is the 15 steps of the Seder. And I always get made fun of, and I think appropriately so, for asking the same silly questions every year. But that's kind of the point of the whole thing, that we do the same thing every year. And that's what the whole point of the Seder is. That, you know, we've been doing this for over 2,000 years as Jewish families. And these are in the list of all the things we do. And so we need to remember that this is why we're here and why we do this every year, to remember all of our ancestors. Now it's time to say the Kiddush, which will be my pleasure to do.
Where's the wine?
Yeah. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'am v'romamanu mikol ha'shon v'kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'titan lanu Adonai Eloheinu ba'ahava modim l'simcha chagim uzmanim l'sason et yom chag hamatzot hazeh zman chagutenu mikra kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim. V'navacharta v'lotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim u'moadei kodshecha b'simcha v'sason hitpaltanu Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh Yisrael v'ha'azmanim Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu l'azman hazeh.
Amen.
Amen.
And everybody can have their first cup of wine. Okay, so this, now we're getting into the important things. This is a time that we've been doing this every year, but who knew it was going to be such a big deal? Wash hands. So I would like Cameron and Sloan and Jordan and Josh and Eli and Carter and Leo to wash their hands. Go wash your hands and come back and tell us you did it.
Where is Leo?
Schluffing. I'm sure he's schluffing.
Leo went, yeah, exactly. He'll be back soon.
Okay.
Our West Coast.
Are you sending the kids to wash?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm more relieved now. I hope they did it for 20 seconds. Okay. So Sheila and Stephen, will you take us on to the next page? This is where we have the spring greens, and I chose you because you come from the only green area of any of us, because here it's still not green yet. And the beautiful, you know, out the beautiful Seattle area, you be kind enough to say the blessing on the greens, and then everybody can partake and dip their greens into salt water.
Or Mrs. Dashwater, is that okay?
Sheila and
worry.
Stephen.
Yep, here we are. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'adamah.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay. And then if you go on the next page, why karpas? Could you tell us about this?
The word karpas derives from the Greek karpos, meaning fruit of the soil. The historical origins of dipping karpas at the Seder reflect the accepted cuisine of the Greco-Roman Symposium. Metaphorically, karpos, the spring vegetable, represents both the historic birth of Israel out of the womb of Egypt and the rebirth of nature renewed each spring. According to, is it Philo and to Rabbi Joshua, the original birthday of nature, the creation, occurred at Pesach time, not Rosh Hashanah. Similarly, the Italian name for spring, primavera, and the French,
whatever that is,
printemps, preserves the sense of the return of the original first time of the world. Spring, Old English, is originally applied to the place of origin from which a stream arises. Later it was applied to the season, the spring of the year.
Thank you. And springtime is coming. Let's hope. So then we're going to pick the matzah in half, and of course part of it we hide. But since there's no one to find it, we're going to have you guys look for the afikomen in a different way, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. And there will be some, monetary rewards for anyone who finds it. So I think you guys will get on that after during the dinner break. So let's move on. And so next thing we always do, and this is the beginning of the actual telling of the story, and that's the halachma anya, and that's on page 12. And Uncle Joel, you always do this, so if you'd be kind enough to do it again. And I always give you the option of Hebrew or English.
Are we doing the halachma?
Yes.
Okay, I can do that. This is the bread of poverty and persecution that our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. As it says in the Torah, 7 days shall you eat matzah, the bread of poverty and persecution, so that you may remember that you were a slave in Egypt. Let all who are hungry come and eat. Let all who are in need come and share the Pesach meal. This year we are still here, next year in the land of Israel. This year we are slaves, next year free people.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Okay. The next page is a little bit of a skit that I thought was kind of cute. So I thought, Renee and Zach, you two are adults from what I understand, and then there's lines for the children. So why don't you guys be the adults, and why don't Courtney and Carter be the children?
Okay. Who's there?
Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam.
Come in. Tell us about your journey.
We have just arrived from Egypt where we were slaves to Pharaoh. He made us do such hard work. Terrible. I'm hurting so bad.
Good improv.
God sent Moshe and Aaron to tell Pharaoh, "Let my people go." When he refused, God sent 10 plagues. The boil. The hail. The death. Darkness. Finally, God brought the most awful plague on the firstborn of Egypt. Then Pharaoh was really scared, so he kicked us out.
Why are you dressed like that? What is on your shoulder?
We escaped in the middle of the night and had no time to let the dough for our bread rise. The dough that we wrapped in our cloaks and slung over our shoulders turned to matzah in the heat of the sun.
Tell us about your adventures.
Pharaoh changed his mind of releasing us, placed us to the edge of the Red Sea. We would have been caught for sure, but then God split the sea. He took a knife and slit it.
Where are you going now?
To Jerusalem.
Hosanna.
Yeah.
Hey.
I think Emmy's for all four of them. Oh, now we're coming to the four questions. Does anybody want to do the four questions?
Leah, do it, Leah.
No, Leah's a bit old. Leah's a bit old for that.
Leah.
I'm too old.
Washing his hands.
You got a volunteer in Atlanta.
Okay. Is there anyone younger? How about Cam? Oh, Cam, do you have your hand up?
Yeah.
Would you like to try to do it?
Open up.
Cam, tell everyone to be quiet so they can hear you.
Okay, Cameron, are you ready?
Yeah.
1 second.
I don't know, we have a picture of Cam.
Almost there. All right, ready? We'll go and leave it. Ready?
Joel, you're not on mute. Mute
Yeah,
yourself.
I got it, Joe.
She wants to help.
Manishana. Kulo matzah. Hold on. In honor of Jody. I was stroking Ani's head, but anyways, sorry. That's what we got.
Let her do it.
Let her do it on her own.
Let her do it on her own now.
That's all that we have here, guys.
Good enough. Good enough.
Okay.
Take it in Atlanta.
That was excellent. How about Eli? Can you do the four questions, or are you comfortable doing that?
Here's Eli.
Yeah, you had it.
How is the night different from all other nights? On all other nights, we eat either leavened bread or matzah. But on this night, we only eat matzah. On all other nights, we eat only kinds of vegetables. But on this night, we eat maror, bitter herbs. Other nights, we need to dip our vegetables every once. But on this night, we dip twice. On all other nights, we eat either sitting upright or recline. But on this night, we all recline.
That was excellent.
Oh, yay.
Eli, your parents need to give you money for that, because we always give rewards. If I was here with you physically, I would give it to you, but I'm not. So they have to give you some money, okay?
Keep it in the bank for him until you see him next time.
Bitcoin?
Exactly.
Okay, the next page is the answers to the four questions. So I would like someone to volunteer to read that. Does anybody want to volunteer?
Leah.
Leah, oh, you volunteered, Leah, go ahead. Yep, 1 through 4, here you go.
All right. 1. Why eat plain matzah, which is hard to digest? Poor laborers and slaves are fed matzah not only because it is cheap, but because it is filling and requires a long digestion period. The diet was designed by the oppressor to exploit the people efficiently. Should I keep going?
Please.
Yes.
2. Why eat raw, bitter vegetables? Maror is eaten plain only by the most oppressed workers who are given little time to prepare their meals. With more time, they would have made these herbs into a tasty salad. 3. Why dip twice before eating? On Seder night, we are obligated to dip twice, karpas in salt water and maror in haroset, because the meal begins. Even today, finger foods dipped in tangy sauces are typical hors d'oeuvres with cocktails, the first cup of wine at banquets. 4. Why recline on pillows while drinking wine? The body language of the free reflects their ease and comfort. Reclining on sofas or pillows, everyone, big and small alike, experiences the freedom of the upper classes. On Seder night, these foods and these table manners are props and stage directions. The script acted out by all.
That was really terrific. And, this tells the story of why Passover is different than any other time of the year. And I thought that was very well done. Okay, and now we're going to go down to before children. And this is always a problem for me because there's four sons here, and they're one of them is a smart one, and one of them is not quite as smart, but all of our kids are smart. Everyone on this phone call is brilliant. So therefore, I don't know how to do this, but we have to figure out something. So AL, I'm going to let you decide who says what.
You can go first. I don't know what the first one is.
Okay, am I the narrator?
You can do the whole thing.
My children go? Like, you want me to decide for everybody or just my children right
No, you decide for everybody.
now? Oh, I decide for
There's no free lunches or free Seders.
As the wise child of my family, I'm gonna pass it on to Rachel to make that decision.
We are the testimonies, the statutes, and the laws, which Adonai our God has commanded you. Who's next?
Is that the first child?
It's the wise child.
Okay.
The narrator.
Okay, Eli next.
Wait, where? Well, does it show me the first character? Whenever does this service mean to you?
All right, Courtney.
She's the wicked child?
What? No, Eli just did Wicked.
So I'm married?
We haven't done narrator or parent, so I don't.
Yeah. Oh, okay, narrator. What does the wicked child say?
Well, what about the... Oh.
Oh, sorry.
Does the service mean to you?
Where are we? Sorry, guys.
Narrator.
All right, narrator. The child emphasizes to you and not to himself or herself, since the child excludes himself or herself from the community and rejects a major principle of faith. Should set that child's teeth on edge and say,
It is because of this that Adonai did for me when I went free from Egypt. Me and not that one. Had that one been there, he or she would not have been redeemed.
That's good. And you can read, everyone should read Embarrassing Your Parents, because I realize some of us older people can understand this better than some of our younger people. But I'll say it, the difficult child is determined to embarrass us, the parents. In the midst of the Seder, before all the guests, he implies that the wine and lamb chops are only for our culinary pleasure, when he says pointedly, this service is for you, not for God. And then we're going to go down, and we have to go to the last two. There's the simple child and the child who doesn't know how to ask. So I would ask that Jody read about where it says the parent of the silent child, because you have a silent child.
Sorry, we lost track. Give us 1 second. The
Right
child
side.
does not ask because he is afraid of making a mistake. He does not know how to phrase his question and lacks confidence. Therefore, the parent should try to lead him into a conversation to encourage him, to strengthen his confidence.
So what I got from that is you need to get Leo to say, Mama, Mama.
You can do
He doesn't
that.
know what it means, but he can say that.
That's good. Okay, we're gonna go to skip a little bit in great respect and love for my father. I say this every year because it's true. He was the great skipper of all time. He would skip pages and pages and pages, and I've inherited that from him. I'm getting
A
very
wise man.
one of us was at least.
Both.
Okay, Sue, can you read "Keeping the Promise"? Can you see it on your screen? Blessed is the one.
We can. Blessed is the one who keeps the promise to Israel. The Holy One blessed be he, calculated the end of our exile and acted just as promised to Abraham our father at the covenant between the pieces. And God said to Abram, you must know that your seed will be strangers in a land not theirs. The people of that land will put them in servitude and afflict them for 400 years. But as for the nation to which they are in servitude, I will bring judgment on them, and after that, your seed will go out with great wealth.
Very good. You actually read that very nicely. I'm so proud of you. Okay.
Thank you.
We're going down now, and skipping. We're going to the 10 plagues.
All right,
And
wine.
we all know what the 11th plague is because we're living through it.
Yes.
What we're going to do is we're going to go down here and we're going to go to where all the plagues are listed, and we're going to say it first in Hebrew and then English. Hebrew, English, and then everyone takes a spoon and drops a little drop of wine, which is a metaphor for the blood that was given up. Okay? We do all this together?
Okay.
Ready? Dam,
God.
Ardea,
Yeah.
Frogs, Kinim,
Kinim,
Lions.
Arov,
Arov, wild beasts.
Or insect.
Davar, cattle plague.
Kettle.
Ping,
Steam, boils.
Barad,
Hail.
Arbe,
Abel, locust.
Osha,
Osha, darkness.
Makat Bechorot.
Trump.
Death of the firstborn.
Okay. All right, so then, I don't know how this is going to work because of the internet connections, trying to sing things together. This might be utter cacophony, but I think we should at least try it. So Dayenu, this is one of our favorites. And Stephen, why don't you lead us in this, okay?
You want to go to the piano? Sure. No, I was just singing. Hosianu mi Mitzrayim b'yaseh. Are we going to do this together?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Ilu
Ilu
hotzi
hotzi hotzianu
hotzianu Mitzrayim v'lo asa b'hem shepat dayenu.
No way.
Ilu asa b'hem shepat
Below
asa
Bethlehem,
b'hem
below Asalan, Dayenu.
Okay, we're gonna go to the last one. Saying Dayenu.
Ready?
Okay, the last one. Ilu hichnisan everybody. That was great. It's the first time I've heard. It's the first time I've heard Dayenu in 3-part harmony.
Very good.
Okay. All right. The next things we talk about, and we're almost ready for the festive meal. We're getting real close. This is the Pesach Matzah Maror. This explains the whole rationale for what we do and why we have Passover. So we have a tradition in the family. We're going to follow it. Courtney and Carter have been doing this since they were real little. So Carter, get back to the table. And we want to do the matzah and the maror.
Sure.
Okay, so let's do first. What is the Pesach lamb? Who wants to do that? Carter?
Sure.
Why the Pesach lamb?
To remind ourselves that God passed over our ancestors' houses in Egypt at this very hour on this very day. Moshe had already instructed us, when your children ask you, what do you mean by the ceremony? You shall say, it is Passover, offering to Adonai, because God passed over the houses of Israel in Egypt when God struck the Egyptians, but saved our houses.
Very good. Okay, then matzah. Courtney?
To remind ourselves that even before the dough of our ancestors in Egypt had time to rise and become leavened, the King of Kings, the Holy One, blessed be He, revealed Himself and redeemed them. The Torah says they baked unleavened cakes of the dough that they had taken out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, since they had been driven out of Egypt and could not delay, nor had they prepared any provisions for themselves.
Wonderful, terrific. And then finally, Maror. Carter?
To remind ourselves that the Egyptians embittered our ancestors' lives. They embittered their lives with hard labor, with mortar and bricks construction, and with all sorts of field labor, agriculture. Whatever the task, they worked unresistingly.
That's great. Okay, thank you. Now we're going to go back. And Stephen, if you don't mind,
Stephen?
On page 47, we have an old African-American spiritual. This is what Moses said to the Pharaoh, let my people go. So can you sing this for us? Because I think if we try to sing it together, it's going to sound terrible, but I think if you do it, it'll be great.
Wow.
Israel was in Egypt's land. Let my people go. Pressed so hard they could not stand. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. Spoke the one old Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll smite your firstborn dead. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land. Tell Pharaoh to let my people go. Or shall they in bondage toil? Let my people go. They shall go forth with Egypt's spoil. Let my people go. Everybody, go down. Moses, way down in Egypt's land. Tell Pharaoh to let my people go.
Yasha Koach, that was terrific.
That was great.
Okay, we're going all the way. We're going all the way to the second cup of wine for those of you who
I
need to
lost the
drink.
screen share.
No, we can see.
What?
I lost let me try exiting.
Wait, stay with us a minute.
I lost the screen share. Return them. Let's try that.
You want me to get off?
I don't know. I might have to leave and come back because I am now. Let's see viewing options.
You want me to get off the screen share?
Can you get off it and then just go right back on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay, we're good. We're back on.
Please share. Thank you.
Okay.
Second glass, second bottle.
Okay. All right. So now it's wash your hands time again. So Cameron, Sloan, and Jordy, please go wash your hands. Josh and Eli, please go wash your hands. Carter, you're not bar mitzvah yet. Please go wash your hands. And we'll say the bracha while you're doing that. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, mitzvotav v'tzivonu al netilat yadayim.
Can you have them wash their hands a few more times, please?
Well, they finished washing. Can you go back to page 53? It's my favorite paragraph, and I look forward to it every year.
Oh, there's always somebody. Okay, go
I
ahead.
know, you passed it. So 54, sorry.
Oh, B'chol
Have
Dor
someone
Vador.
read- Yeah, it's a good one.
Read it.
Okay. In every generation, one is obligated to see oneself as one,
That was just for fun.
not for me.
Big brother.
Show us control.
Yeah. As one who personally went out from Egypt, just as it says, you shall tell your child on that very day. It's because of this that God did for me when I went out from Egypt. Not only were our ancestors redeemed by the Holy One, blessed be He, but even we were redeemed with them. Just as it says, God took us out from there in order to bring us and to give us the land God swore to our ancestors. So good message.
Very good. Okay, let's go. We're to the matzah part, and this is where we say the bracha on the matzah. Everyone together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem ha'aretz. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. And this is the one thing here, we have to have the bitter herbs. And this is my biggest regret of the whole thing, that we're not all together, that I can't make sandwiches for all you people.
Oh, yeah.
And this is, so you have to make your sandwich yourself. John, do you have the charoset?
Yeah, but we need the
Lost everybody else.
Are we starting with should we eat just the matzah first and then the charoset, or it's all together now?
I think in the interest of, eat it all, just whatever you want.
All together.
Good.
Okay, so this is Hillel sandwich. This is a very famous part of it. And, you know, everyone has a little bit of charoset and a little bit of horseradish, or sometimes a lot of horseradish. It depends how you want to clear out your sinuses. In any event, we now are at the good part where we're at the, as Uncle Joe likes to say, the festive meal. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to stop my screen. And what we're going to do now.
Wait, before you do that, I want to mention something. Susie and I are country music fans, and we were watching Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood the other night on the special. And Garth Brooks said something that I thought was very interesting and fits it right in with Passover. He said, in these times, all that we really want is to go back to the days before coronavirus, and that'll be fine for us. And then he said, which would be a great opportunity for a songwriter, and I'm a songwriter. So I'll give you the beginning of the song. Let's all get together and figure this out and go back to our lives that we all bitched about. And that's really all we want. We want to go back to the lives that we all complained about. That was all.
So true. That's so true.
So true.
Okay, so here's the deal now. It's time for dinner, and we're just going to leave the Zoom on, and people can eat. People can talk to each other, or people can turn it off and leave the meeting. Do whatever you want. But we are coming back in about 1.5 hours, and we're going to do it's exactly 6.
Half hours.
6:30. We're going to come back, and we're going to do the songs and do the blessings after the meal, and then we'll conclude the Seder. But I hope everyone stays with us.
Love you all.
Will Stephen be leading us on the piano like he just did?
You'll have to ask him.
Yeah,
we have another Seder.
We have another Seder to go to.
But we might have time.
Sheila and Stephen are double booking.
Really?
Sorry,
this is the only event I have tonight.
Love you guys.
Great meal, everybody. Thanks, Jeff.
Okay.
Okay, we'll see you guys in a half hour. We get to sing.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.